In this video, we're going to go through how to link up Bootstrap to your project. We're going to go through how to install Bootstrap and how to set up NPM to track that install of Bootstrap. We're also going to talk a little bit about how to use the Bootstrap CDN if you don't want to have to install Bootstrap locally. So to get started here, we're going to go into our project, and the very first thing we're going to do is make sure that we have our terminal open to the correct folder. Now you want to make sure that the only things in this folder are things that apply to the project specifically that you're working on. So now that we have that set up, I'm going to run the command npm init, and I'll put a -y after it. It just defaults all the questions to whatever the default answer is. And so that's created this package.json file. Now what this package.json file does is it tracks any dependencies or anything else that your site will need installed in order to properly show up and run. It's a really good way to track everything that you're going to need. Now, if you'll notice here, there are no dependencies listed yet. So we're going to go in and run the command npm I bootstrap. And this is going to install the latest version of Bootstrap. So when I hit enter, it'll be installing, and it puts our dependency here to show that it's been installed. And we also have this node modules folder now. Now, one of the other things that I highly recommend is creating another file inside of here, and it's .git ignore. And what this does is if you're going to be uploading your project to GitHub, we're creating a file here to where we can actually tell GitHub things that we don't want it to upload. So in this case, we're going to do /node_modules, and now our node modules folder will not upload. The package.json, if we clone it down, is going to tell us everything that needs to be installed. And we can run the command npm I after it's been cloned down in order to get all of those files installed. So we have Bootstrap installed now, but if you'll notice, our button over here is not showing up with the Bootstrap stylings. So the next step that we'll need to do is linking it up to Bootstrap to where the HTML document will pull all the Bootstrap styles in for us. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to type in link and hit enter. And that puts in just a basic link and gets us to the href. And now we're going to do a / here. It's in my project. I'm going to go to node modules, bootstrap, dist, css, and then we'll scroll down, and there's two different ones you can pick from down here that work really well. There's the bootstrap.min.css, which is a minified version of Bootstrap, or the bootstrap.css. Either one's fine. We've got it locally installed, so it's going to read the same way. Then, if you want to do any kind of animations or drop-down menus or anything like that, then you're also going to need to install a script. So we're going to do a / here, and we're going to navigate to the JavaScript part of node modules. So we go to Bootstrap, and here you have the option to go to the dist folder or to the JavaScript folder. We want to go to the dist folder still, and then to this JS folder here, and we'll use this bootstrap.bundle.js. So now any animations should work in my site. Now, it is linked up locally. My button is showing the colors that I want. The next question comes, can I still apply my own styles to this sheet? So normally you're going to need to just go to link in CSS to link up this style.css sheet, and then you'll put your address here for where the or your pathway to where the file is. Well, I've put that in here, but if you'll notice over here, I'm not getting my custom styles. I applied a style of a background color of red and a color of black, and a background color of blue and red when it's a hover, and it's not happening. This code is going to run from top to bottom. So I load in my style sheet first, and then I load in Bootstrap. So it applies my styles and then it goes over and says, all right, now apply any of these Bootstrap styles. So my styles get overwritten. If I take this and I move it down below, now we can see it's applying properly to where I have my black text, and when I hover, it's red text with a blue background. So keep that in mind with your projects. You want that CSS style sheet for your own use to be below it. And then you can customize anything Bootstrap has, or at least the colors and things like that. Now, the other thing to consider if you're having issues with this project is you want to make sure that your node modules folder is inside your project and not outside of this My Project folder. You also want to make sure these package JSONs are and your get ignore as well. Everything for your website needs to be in that one folder. If it's not, you'll have problems. Things won't read correctly, and then the styles won't apply. So it would be just the regular button here. It won't show up the way that you want it to. Now, this is the basic way to set it up. You do have to do these steps every time you're going to do a new project. But for a new page, so let's say we made an about page, you're just going to need to copy this script over and this link file over in order for the Bootstrap stuff to apply. So each site will, or each page is going to have this kind of basic layout to start out with. You could almost just copy this directly and do it. So let's create a new about page. We want the about page to have the exact same thing that this one does. So I'll do my dummy text and we will put an H1 tag here, and we're going to use the class of text center and display one from Bootstrap. Then I'm going to put hello world, and now we're going to link up Bootstrap. Now, like I mentioned before, you can come over here and just copy this Bootstrap link. It's going to be the same for this page because they're both in the same folder. And then I can go over here and I can copy this script as well and paste it right before my closing body tag. And now this will apply. So now if I come over here and I go to about.html, it's going to load hello world styled in the way that I said. Now, I didn't link my custom style sheet, but if you wanted to do that, you could do that right below the Bootstrap as well. So hopefully this video has gone over some of the things that you need to look for with issues in relating to how to install and link up Bootstrap. One other thing that I'd like to mention is if you wanted to use the CDN or Content Delivery Network that Bootstrap provides to keep from having to install this, you can. So instead of doing the package.json and instead of doing the get ignore and the node modules, you just go to getbootstrap.com, and on the home page, you'll just scroll down to the include via CDN, and you'll copy the link and you'll paste it where our link was over here, and then you'll copy the script and post it where the script was over here. So that means that every time your site loads, it's going to reach out to the Bootstrap website, pull down the information it needs, and apply it to your page. There are advantages to this. It is lighter weight, but there are also disadvantages. If the website is down, you lose all of your styling. If you wanted to customize the Bootstrap, you don't have it local to customize anymore. So there are things like that that are kind of questions you have to weigh when you're building your project. Most of the time, I would recommend a local installation. That way, if the internet is out, you can continue building on your site. But it is really up to you how you apply Bootstrap. I encourage, if you have any questions, to go to getbootstrap.com and to look more deeply into the documentation. There's a lot of good information there. They've got one of the better pages as far as documentation goes. Hopefully this helps, and happy coding.